Hey there, welcome over here to my kitchen. Today I'm going to be showing you 5 new creative, super duper delicious family meals that you can make any night of the week, and you probably already have a lot of these ingredients already on hand. So I hope you enjoy this video. Let's jump to my kitchen and start cooking. To get us started off today, we are making the best ever basil Tuscan chicken. This is a new recipe. So to get it started, I have 1 large chicken breast. I sliced it in half horizontally so it kind of appears as 2. I placed it into my large gallon-sized Ziploc bag, and now I'm just going to be beating it with my meat mallet so it's even in size. This is going to make the chicken super duper tender, and then it's also going to make it cook evenly. Now that I'm finished beating our chicken so it's even in size, I do want to let you know, if you don't have time for that step to beat the chicken, you don't have to do it. You could just skip to this step, which is just seasoning the chicken on both sides with a dash of salt, pepper, and dried basil. In my pan right here, I have a tablespoon of melted hot butter and a tablespoon of hot olive oil. I added my chicken in, and I'm going to let it cook for a few minutes on each side or until it reaches 165 degrees internally. Now I'm removing the chicken to a separate plate and I'm setting it to the side. Into the same pan that we just cooked the chicken in, I added an additional tablespoon of butter along with a half of a white onion that I diced finely and 1/4 cup of chicken broth. I let the onion get soft for a few minutes, and now I'm adding in 1 tablespoon of minced garlic along with 1/3 cup of these sun-dried tomatoes. Give this a really good stir to combine everything, and then you will want to add in 1 cup of chicken broth at this point along with the juice from a half of a lemon, and then let this simmer on your stove for about 3 to 4 minutes. Now that we have our sauce cooking away, I'm going to boil up about 3 cups of these egg noodles according to the package directions. Back over to the sauce, I just added in a 1/2 cup of heavy cream. I'm whisking this all together, and I'm going to let it simmer for about 2 to 3 minutes on my stove to help it thicken up. So now I'm going to be adding in a 1/2 cup of Parmesan cheese. Whisk the Parmesan cheese in to help it melt down. After that, you are going to add in about 1/4 cup of freshly chopped basil. That's optional. If you don't have basil on hand, you don't have to add it, but I have a cute little basil plant in my kitchen that I like using. The last thing you'll do is add the cooked chicken back into your pan, let it warm through, and then it's ready to serve. Of course, I served mine over those egg noodles, but you could serve yours over rice or just eat this how it is as a lower carb option. I also served this with steamed broccoli on the side. Now we're making this Cajun chicken, zucchini, and pepper dish. To get started, I'm just going to cut my zucchinis into chunks like this along with 1 yellow bell pepper. You could use other veggies for this dish too, so if you don't care for any of those veggies, you could use different type of veggies. So over to my pan, I just added a tablespoon of butter along with a tablespoon of olive oil. Once that's hot, I'm going to add in 1 tablespoon of Cajun seasoning. If you don't care for Cajun seasoning, you could add other type of seasonings in if you would like. Anyways, I'm going to stir this all together and let the Cajun seasoning get fragrant. It should take only about 10 seconds. So now that it is fragrant, I'm adding in 1 pound of cubed chicken breast. As always, you could use more chicken depending on your needs. Once my chicken got to about 90% of the way cooked, I'd say, I'm going to be adding in the veggies that we just chopped up, and I'm going to stir everything together, and I'm going to let the chicken completely cook through for a few more minutes and then let the veggies get soft. Once we're at that point, I'm going to add in the juice from a half of a lemon and then stir everything together, and then it's ready to serve. I decided to serve mine just like this, not with any sides or anything, just because this is a pretty filling meal as it is, but if you wanted to, this would be amazing served over white rice. All of the veggies and the seasoning combined together work perfectly. Now we're making one of my husband's all-time favorite foods, these buffalo chicken stuffed sweet potatoes. So to get it started, you will want about 4 cups of shredded chicken. I'm just boiling my chicken up in the Instant Pot, or you could use a rotisserie chicken or boil it up on the stove. But my chicken was partially frozen, just to let you know. Anyways, after I added my chicken into the Instant Pot, I added 1 cup of water, set my valve to sealing, and then cook this on high pressure for 28 minutes while we have our chicken cooking away, I'm going to begin on the sweet potatoes. I'm actually going to be microwaving these sweet potatoes instead of putting them in the oven just because it's summertime and I don't want to use my oven. So with my smaller to medium-sized sweet potatoes, I'm poking venting holes in them so they don't blow up in the microwave, and then I place them on my microwave safe plate with 1/4 cup of water, and then I put a loose layer of wax paper over the top. I put this in my microwave for about 5 minutes at a time until they were soft. So now that my chicken's cooked, I shredded it up pretty finely, and now I'm going to be adding about 1/4 cup of this medium wing sauce, or you could use any type of wing or buffalo sauce you like, or you could use barbecue sauce if you want to make these barbecue flavored. So after I added that in, I added a dash of garlic powder and onion powder with 2 tablespoons of ranch dressing. I'm using the Parmesan ranch dressing, but you could use any type you like. Now I'm going to stir this all together. It really can't get any easier than this. With my sweet potatoes that are now soft, I cut them open and then kind of mashed the sweet potatoes up a little bit in the center. And now I'm going to be stuffing them with that buffalo mixture, and that's it. This is the finished product. I drizzled more ranch dressing over the top and then topped them with a little bit of green onions. Again, with this recipe, I didn't serve it with any sides because this meal's so filling and you get your veggies and your proteins all at one time. My husband absolutely loves country fried chicken, so to get this one started, I have 2 medium-sized chicken breasts right here. I'm adding it to my large gallon-sized Ziploc bag, and then I'm sealing the bag up, and we're going to be tenderizing this meat, and we're going to be making it even in size and thin. I like to make my chicken super thin. It will just come out really, really tender and nice in the end like that. So now that we're finished in this bowl, I'm adding 1 egg along with 1 cup of buttermilk and then just a little dash of salt and pepper. You're going to whisk this mixture all together. After you're finished with that, you're going to set your chicken in that egg wash and set it to the side. We're going to get started on the brown gravy now, so I'm just using this packet of brown gravy and I followed the directions on the back. You could make brown gravy however you like making it, but I found that this packet is quick and easy and it still tastes really good. The flour and breadcrumb mixture to coat the chicken is so simple to make. So in this bowl, I added 1/2 cup of flour along with 1/3 cup of breadcrumbs. And then for the seasonings, it's just 1/2 teaspoon of salt and paprika, and then 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper and 1/4 teaspoon of regular pepper. And then you are going to whisk this together. To coat the chicken, all I do is drip off any of the excess egg wash and then I place it in that flour mixture. I make sure I coat it super well on both sides and then I set it on a separate plate. I do want to let you know, if you want to double this recipe for more people, it is so easy to do that. To fry up our chicken, in my pan right here, I'm adding about 1.5 cups of vegetable oil. You do want to make sure your oil is hot before you add the chicken in, just so the chicken crisps up nicely in the end. So now that my pan's hot, I'm just adding the chicken and I'm going to cook it for about 5 minutes on each side or so, or until it reaches 165 degrees internally. Once it did reach 165 degrees internally, I remove the chicken to a separate plate lined with paper towels. You can't have country fried chicken without mashed potatoes, so I served it over a bed of mashed potatoes with steamed peas on the side, and of course, I poured plenty of the brown gravy over the top. This meal is not very hard to throw together, and it is comfort food to the max. Now we're making this lasagna hamburger helper. To get this one started in my Dutch oven, I'm adding 1 pound of ground beef. I'm going to break it up and cook it through with my meat masher. If you don't have a meat masher, I totally recommend one. I have one linked in my Amazon store actually for you. But once my ground beef was cooked, I removed any excess grease, and then I'm going to add in all of my seasonings. Just a teaspoon of onion powder, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of oregano and basil, a fourth a teaspoon of sugar, and then you are going to lastly add in 3 tablespoons of tomato paste and then stir everything together. Now I'm adding in my 2 cups of chicken broth. I brought this up to a boil, and now I'm going to be adding in my 2.5 cups of broken lasagna noodles. I just broke them into smaller pieces, or you could add in smaller sized pasta noodles if you would like. Last thing I'm adding in is 2 cups of milk. I brought this up to a simmer, and then I let it simmer covered for about 10 minutes. You want to be careful. You don't really want this to boil too much, or else the milk might curdle in it, so just keep an eye on it. Don't completely make it boil, just let it simmer. But here is my plate of food. I served this alongside of a side salad, and I've been using this Olive Garden ranch recently, and it is so amazing. This meal is definitely kid friendly. My daughter even ate it for lunch the next day for leftovers. This is the ultimate salmon marinade. My parents used to make salmon like this all of the time for us when I was growing up. In this bowl, I have 4 salmon fillets. I'm adding 1 teaspoon of garlic salt on top, and then I'm going to be pouring a half a cup of Italian dressing on top of that. You could use any type of Italian dressing you like or have on hand. I put cling wrap over the top and then let this marinate in my fridge for at least an hour, and then I grilled it after it was through marinating. This is the finished product. I served it alongside of twice baked potato casserole and a side salad. In my video on Wednesday, I actually showed how to make that twice baked potato casserole and my side salad, so if you happen to miss that video, I'll link it in my description box for you. I hope you found a meal for yourself, and I would absolutely love to have you here, so go ahead and subscribe down below the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.